Mafia 3 is a third-person open-world action game that changes things quite a bit from the previous Mafia games, which is a good thing. Set in the tumultuous late 60s, it is a time of social upheaval, racism, and class disparity. Our protagonist Lincoln Clay has just returned from his tour of duty from Vietnam, back home in New Bordeaux, which is a fictional city inspired by New Orleans. A new crime boss dominates the turf. Sal Marconi asks Lincoln Clay to rob a bank, which, as with all these mafia plots, he ends up getting backstabbed. Lincoln Clay escapes with his life and plots his revenge. Nothing too out of this world for a Mafia story, but where Mafia 3 really delivers is in the way it tells its story. There's a documentary style presentation of the narrative as characters in the story retell the exploits of Lincoln Clay. It's very clear that while the developers want you to root for the protagonist, it isn't exactly clear if Lincoln Clay is a good guy. At many times he is brutal and violent, sparing no pity for enemies, and asking a cut from the profit other crime bosses make in their illegal trade. He's more of a morally grey character or an anti-hero. In a lot of ways, Mafia 3 is an attempt to address the criticisms leveled at Mafia 2. That the game was way too linear and there wasn't anything much to do in the open world. It was an average crime story in an open world that was there just for the looks. Mafia 3 adds new side missions and weaves gameplay mechanics to the crime drama that's unfolding. The map of New Bordeaux is divided into different districts. As you progress in the storyline, you unlock new associates or crime bosses that you convince to join your side. These are people that also have an axe to grind with Sal Marconi. You know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. To move the story along, you'll need to complete a set of side missions in the district which unlocks one main mission to take down the enemy mob boss of that area. This could be like killing a specific gang leader or destroying contraband. It's all pretty menial stuff here and most of the missions kinda play around the same way. It seems like Mafia 3 went really the opposite direction from the previous linear no side mission structure to a more mechanics driven, complete a set amount of missions to unlock a story mission thingy. I quite like this, but the problem with such a structure is that you don't have a lot of varying different missions. The game can get pretty repetitive quick, which in Mafia 3's case it unfortunately does. Once you've played a few of these missions, it's as good as playing the entire game. They could have made it much more interesting, like what about killing a gang leader that's driving a car? Or maybe you gotta kill him by running him over with your car, making it seem like an accident. Or maybe have people move around the open world depending on the time of the day. Speaking of the open world, the devs have toned down the annoying police quite a bit in Mafia 3. You could generally go super fast in your car. The police aren't in every single block, so you're given free rein to drive as recklessly as you want. There's certainly some districts that have more police presence, so you still gotta watch it. I really do like Mafia 3, but I realize it's not perfect. There are flaws that could turn off a lot of gamers. Its repetitiveness and samey missions let down a pretty smart designed game, with good gunplay, stealth segments, and an engaging story that is presented in such a polished way. Mafia 3 is satisfying to grind through just for the well-told story, and it leaves me positive on the direction of the franchise is taking.
You're gonna have to shake these corn-pone redneck motherfuckers!
What happened?
You got real police. You crossed the wrong motherfucker, that's what happened. Now shut the fuck up.